30 projections in 30 days going into the 2024 regular season for the New York Mets as we continue our month-long deep dive into the Mets' 40-man roster. Today's episode will be about definitely the most intriguing arm on the Mets roster, Shintaro Fujinami. Fujinami came over from Japan last year after signing a one-year deal with Oakland. As a starter, Fujinami was abysmal, posting a 14.26 earned run average in 17.2 innings pitched. But after being traded to Baltimore and moved to the bullpen, Fujinami was a lot better, finishing the year on a 7.18 earned run average, a 4.61 fielding independent pitching, striking out 23.2% of batters across 79 innings pitched. This coming season, the Mets are expected to use Fujinami as a full-time reliever with a tremendous amount of upside. Fujinami is a hard-throwing righty with an explosive kitchen sink of weapons, a high 90s fastball that touches 102 to 103, a low 90s gyro-style splitter, a hard late-action cutter, and a sweeping action slider. One of the biggest bases of Fujinami's struggles last season was a massive amount of empty velocity and inconsistent pitch shape and sequence, which caused him to surrender a lot of base runners as well as a lot of hard contact, landing him in the bottom 10% in average exit velocity, hard hit rate, and fly ball rate. Going into a 30-year-old season, the Mets have taken a flyer on the struggling Fujinami after he signed a one-year, $3.35 million deal this offseason.
The Mets definitely have been looking and building on these, reclamation projects or, bounce back in. And for a one-year, $3 million bet, I don't think there's much better value and upside you could have potentially got on the market. Saw him as a starter in Oakland, which, again, a pitcher's ballpark, and he was still getting slammed around and just wasn't connecting as a starter. If he goes to Baltimore, wasn't amazing, but definitely a lot better than what we saw in Oakland. So to have him come in, again, adding more velocity, as we've seen, has been the major key with the Mets. They did not have anybody, seems throwing 99 in that pen, giving Jeremy Hefner to work his beautiful magic. If you can get a guy 45 productive innings, and again, he's not coming in here as a high leverage guy. As of now, he's a low leverage guy who can work up and to be a guy who can be in a high leverage spot if everything goes well. And like I said on a past stream, have a back end of a bullpen of everybody throwing 102 and nobody's hitting anything. Am I banking on that? No, but again, it's upside for $3 million. Jordan Hicks got like 17 million, so and that's has that crazy velocity. To pay $3 million for a guy who can throw 103, you take that risk every day of the week.
The stuff is kind of what you're banking on here. Again, this goes to the whole mindset of they have a starter trying to identify talent that's maybe undervalued and trying to make the most out of them. Obviously, like we said, big time struggles as a starting pitcher, was better as reliever, but at least he has something to build on. You can't coach 103, you can't teach 103. So the fact that he has it, that's a great starting point. Now it's a matter of building on it. And again, with the bullpen the Mets have built in low leverage usage, he can be effective. And there's a role for him on this team for sure. So I definitely am curious to see kind of what his season looks like, because there is some intrigue, by the kind of stuff that he had.
Now, let me ask you this. Obviously, he was a starter. I think that there is a somewhat possibility that maybe you slide in Shintaro Fujinami for a start or two, maybe as a possible opener, something like that. Of course, he did not succeed as a starter whatsoever, but I think that if there were to be confidence gain, were to be pitching well, would you give him the reins to possibly start?
As a starter just went so bad, why would we revisit that? I think that, if you got something going good in the bullpen, leave it that way. I think the only way I would do something similar is maybe as an opener. That's about it.
Yeah, of course.
I feel like that's like a happy medium there where it's not quite starting, but it's not quite relieving. Have him as an opener with that gas. I think, on a cold day, it's hard to just hit 103. You know what I mean? So as an opener, and then you could throw in maybe your Sean Manaea, give a different look or something. It's a possibility, but I think you really want to keep him in the bullpen.
No, because you started this, like Frank said, you've been there, done that, and he just started to build some confidence as a reliever in Baltimore. I want to build on that, not blow that potentially away because we need starting pitcher. We have some depth internally, and again, if I'm going, I'd rather see a Vassal, a Dom, or Scott before I see a Shintaro Fujinami start a resurgent bandwagon. I don't need to see that. He started to build some confidence as a reliever in Baltimore. Let's continue to build on that than risking tearing down what potentially could have been building a really good reliever.
I do agree. I'm just, talking about the certain flexibility of what we've seen him do and what he could possibly do, the upside. If you can ride the hot hand, you could ride the hot hand. Maybe you do see him as an opener, maybe once or twice during the season. I just want to let everybody know that projections are not predictions. They are benchmarks of the player's current specific percentile outcome based on predictive data and results. For my projections, I decided to use, in my opinion, players' current 75th percentile outcome. Although original projections are usually from the 50th percentile outcome, I personally wanted to find a median between sustainability and upside. You also get a quick look as to who I am really high on and who I am really low on going into 2024. As for Shintaro Fujinami, I have him at 52 innings pitched, 28.1 strikeout rate, 11.9 walk rate, a 4.15 earned run average, a 3.88 fielding independent pitching, and even 1 home run per 9, and a 0.4 wins above replacement.
52 innings of about a 4 ERA. Again, it's better than his Baltimore tenure. So again, you're building off of seeing a productive reliever, and then if he is a reliever, use him an opener, whatever. But again, 1 to 2 innings at max spurts for him. Again, it's improvement, and I think you can continue to base off that, and him building off that good second half of Baltimore, moving in, again, the right direction if, your projections were to come out correct.
I agree. It's just continued improvement, which is good because he's not one of those guys that, even though he's about to be 30, only his second year in the league. So, again, it's hard to really kind of gauge what kind of player he is. So to make that continued improvement of, okay, I'm a reliever now and just keep building on that, I definitely checks out.